On the way into this, I'm just going to show you how easy it is to adjust the light. Lift it to where I want it, because I want to show you the capstans under there. And anyway. Okay, there it is. Aluminum capstans that have replaced the heavy brass capstans. So the hammers are a little bit heavier than the original ones, for sure, but the capstans are way lighter, and the circles represent no need for lead. And the lead, in this case I use copper, but the compensatory weight is to make the effective weight of the hammers feel lighter, to compensate for it. The other thing I did was that I went carefully through the pinning, particularly the hammer pinning. I did it and then I left it, worked it, and then did it. You went through it while it was still on the tray. Basically an extra time. And so it's very even with my 9 half swings throughout. And this allows me to do the weigh-off by upweight rather than by downweight and upweight. Well, of course I check it with the downweight as well to begin with, but once it's clear that the friction is even, then you can just go from one to the next to the next. Let's see if I can get you in the camera so that you can see this. It's tricky to look in both places at once. But anyway, you get the idea that this is very even throughout. And what I do is, when I get to the top here, I take the next one and overlap the next weight up. And then the same when I get to the top of the next section and the next section, so that the additional weight as I go up challenges the friction and the balance more and more, and so it becomes easier and easier with the lighter weight. And if I go back into the lighter weight section with the heavier weight, it just fine-tunes it very nicely. And with chalk, I mark the ones that need no lead. And you can see that the pattern leading in this Steinway B came out, really very even. In fact, it appears that they're all, all the lead is on this side. Well, that's true. But I did take out of these 3 in the base, I took lead out. So what you're seeing is actually a very fine tuning of what was basically a good weigh-off. But the fine tuning ultimately makes a difference to the control for the player and thereby tone for the piano. Okay, the next step after the top stack's been taken off is to remove each key that needs weight and mark it so that it's clear where to drill it, and I leave the weight with it. Now the weights are very even in this group of copper weights, but even so, I just keep the weight that weighed it with the key. Oh, the other thing is that if the place of boring for the weight is anywhere near a flare in the key, I put it so the flare is up toward the piece of chalk, which will make it easier to clamp the key for boring. So here's another thing that can happen. You have everything apart, you're underway, and you discover that oops, this copper is right over a lead. Well, that's no good. You can't put it in where the lead is. You can't add it to it. So I'm going to have to either move this out. This particular key is odd. It's the only one that required 2 coppers. So I may have to compromise a little, but probably moving it out to there just on its own would be the solution, and taking this one out. But a way to test to see how well that will work, or how much compromise there is to balance this key by adding weight back here. And you know, there's some friction in the system, so it's an approximation, but basically you want it to be able to stay in the middle. So let's say that that's close enough. So a way to, I'm going to take that out, that goes down, put this out, and how balanced is that? See, it's within the, I can probably scoop that out even a little bit more. It's the reason I employed 2 copper weights, because obviously it was quite far out. And then I failed to note that when I put in the 2, instead of the copper weight being out at the end of the key, actually the way the lead in its neighbor is, this was here on that key. And so anyway, open space there where it has so that, anyway, that works without putting everything back together. It's within the margin of error and solved. Okay, just to show the pattern leading, you can see where it goes from there down to just 2 here. And the first one that required the special treatment was in between these 2 keys. And please like, subscribe, or follow the link in the notes to my website.